Blake Snell, man, this.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. It is Friday Night Lights with my good friends Willie Walls and the Great Swame. Willie Walls, you must be killing DFS baseball. Look, you got a new house, you got a piano, you got a fireplace. What's going on?
Gone is the cabinets behind me. You see what I got now, baby? Let's go. It's time for the new year. You see that piano? They call me
Liberace. Liberace. All right, Swami, how you been, my friend?
Doc, they more like call him Stinky Crotchy. Doing well, Doc. Can't wait. Was excited to see the Hall of Fame game yesterday. We're back, and I can't wait. I'm telling you, every year it seems like I'm anticipating that much more every year.
What'd you think of the kickoffs, Swami? Did you think of that more excitement? You think it's going to be better during the year? Think there are going to be fewer field goals during the year?
Doc, I've learned not to rush to judge some of these new rule changes because I'm just the person who just doesn't want to me the game was already perfect. I get it, you wanted to make the game safe in some respects. I was okay with that. I just didn't think the kickoff was one that you need to change. They took it out where guys were just kind of running down and plowing into the protectors and all that. And I thought that was maybe a good move. But the last couple of things, I don't know. I'm going to wait and see on it, Doc. I don't know.
All right. Well, we always preview like by division, AFC East, AFC North. I figure this year, let's do it by position. Let's talk about some of the guys we like. Let's talk about some quarterbacks, Willie. When you're doing your drafts, when you're playing in DFS, are you in on Josh Allen this year? Are you worried with Diggs gone? Do you still think Allen's going to have a productive year?
I do, but I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. To be honest with you, I mean, is it because I think the competition in the division is going to be fierce. And then because like last year, Josh Allen had 192 points in the red zone, according to Rich Arbar of Sharp Analysis. 192 points in the red zone. That's the most that anybody has had since Marshall Faulk in 2000. He had 185, and a lot of that because he had he had 15 1-yard run touchdown runs. But I just think now with some of his weapons gone and they're young. Listen, I'm not feeling it. I know Josh Allen. Listen. Last time he was in this position, he finished like number 7 or 8. But I just think that where he's going now, I just think I don't want to invest in him. Josh Allen's a great guy, but I just think his receiving core, Kincaid is nice. You got Knox and you got Shakur, but I don't think that's enough. I think he's going to struggle more. Go ahead.
What about Keon Coleman, Willie? You like Keon Coleman? You think he could be real deal, a kid from FSU?
Yeah, but he's young. You know what I mean? He's a young receiver. So, I don't mind a guy like, you're getting a young receiver, but you got other veterans that's there to lead the way. I mean, even though Diggs was a distraction over the year, I know he was a big distraction, but Diggs still knew what he was doing, and I just think they're too young in the receiving core. So I'm not feeling Mr. Allen this year, not where he's going in the draft.
All right, Swami, your Baltimore Ravens, they add a guy named Derrick Henry. I heard he's pretty good. Does that ruin the chances of Lamar Jackson winning another MVP?
Doc, I don't know. Like some of these teams and some of these moves are very interesting, right? We already talked about Buffalo, and you heard what Willie had to say there, just as far as teams not getting better. I don't think you get better by getting rid of your top guys. And even if you bring in some young guys that you feel like that you really like, and I definitely don't think you necessarily get better by not improving where you need to improve. So you got a situation where the Ravens they're arguably one of the better running teams in the league and have been for quite a while, especially while Lamar's been there. So any improvements you do in the backfield, even when it's King Henry, I just feel like where you go from top 5 rushing offense to top 5 rushing offense, Doc, is a tree falling in the forest. I just don't know if it makes a sound. What does it mean? I got it. When you guys are facing Kansas City in the AFC Championship next year, what are you going to do? How are you going to make plays in the passing game when the running game and when you need some plays on the outside and when you got to try to get a first down or you need a big play through the passing game, what are you going to do? And I haven't seen them address that at all. And then over the last couple of years, again, you take Hollywood Brown out, you bring in Zay Flowers. To me, that's not improving. You're if anything, you're kind of keeping status quo. And to me, teams got to get better. We still got a good football team. I just don't know if the offense has gotten, that one or two pieces I think I would have wanted us to see us go after to really make a big move. So we'll see.
Willie,
Doc,
Swami,
I'll be honest. I agree with Swami because this is the thing. But see, the thing is, Lamar, love him, but I think Henry's going to take some of that away. Having him there because I think they want to take less pressure off of Lamar in the red zone, and they had started phasing him out in the red zone anyway, or making those rushes. And then you put this in that division, the North. His stats are different in the North than it is against everybody else. He felt like he's let out of jail when he gets out the North, but that's a tough division, man. That division brings. I mean, like for me, for Burrow, every quarterback in that league, I don't want because not where they're going because the NFC North is a tough, scrappy division, and
Swami mentioned Patrick Mahomes, and playing Baltimore, playing Kansas City, maybe in the AFC Championship game. I think maybe are we underestimating how good Mahomes could be this year, Swami? You're talking about Xavier Worthy. You're talking about Hollywood Brown. You still have Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, another year older. Could Mahomes really bust out, have 5,000 yards and 45 touchdowns? I mean, is he capable of something like that?
First of all, Mr. Mahomes, Doc. Let's make sure we get it. There's nothing at this point that I think he can't do. He's in a class by himself, and everybody else is playing catch up to him. And I'm telling you, he could be out there with me, you, and Walls, and I think he could go for 3,500 yards. I can't see where it's the sky's the limit. To me, because they the way they play and the way that offense has been going, even when they've been battling injuries and they lost a couple folks, especially Mr. Hill, they found a way to kind of get it done and stay right there. Now you bring him what we think are a few nice pieces. Oh, come on. Is it fair, Doc, is the question you should be asking. Mr. Mahomes.
Yeah. I mean, Willie, I'm with something on that. I think Mahomes is going as like maybe the third or fourth quarterback. I can't see him not being number one. I can't picture it.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Listen, Marquise Brown averages 23.4 yards per touchdown catch. That's what these other guys throwing the ball. This is Mr. And that's with a exclamation point, a period, and everything. Mr. Holmes, how can we help you, Mr. Holmes? Listen, Patrick Mahomes, let me tell you something. He's going to feel like he's let out of jail. He had Van Ass Scantling last year. Remember what he had last year? Justin Watson. Yes. See, I mean, just look what he had. And you replace him with speed. You give him speed, and then, that's going to open it up more for Kelce down the middle now because you got the speed there. Because, man, they played linebackers on their receivers last year. They said, no, we got them. Linebacker, we're going to check him. Matter of fact, bring the defensive line out here on the wide out right here. He ain't going to do nothing. That's how they played him last year. And then you saw what happened when they got in the playoffs. And he said, this is why I'm still Mr. Mahomes. They won a Super Bowl that they should not have won. He stole that Super Bowl. So what I'm saying is, with getting that speed that he has, that's the guy that I like going up while Mr. Hurts and Mr. Josh Allen is going down.
Swami, I'm really glad that Willie mentioned Jalen Hurts. I think the worst pick of an early quarterback this year, sad to say it, is Jalen Hurts. Firstly, you got Saquon Barkley in there who's going to steal touchdowns. He's a great running back behind a great offensive line. Secondly, Hurts didn't look so great as a passer last year. Maybe I'm missing something. I like A.J. Brown. I like Devonta Smith. I get Dallas Goedert. But, Swame, are you all in on Jalen Hurts? Because I don't know if I am.
Doc, I want to say that I get what I'm going to call is the little bit of concern you all are showing for Mr. Hurts. But I just want to say that the Eagles' offense, at least even if you just took the first 12 weeks, right? First 11, 12 weeks, they look like a well-oiled machine. They're likely to score as many points as anybody in the league or be right up there with points. So when teams are putting up, they have the potential to put up 4 or 5 touchdowns a week, everybody can eat, including 2 and 3 guys on offense every week. You can still have Saquon going for 1 or 2 touchdowns, and Jalen can still go for 3 or 4 touchdowns passing, just because I think that offense, they like to hang up points. I mean, they go ahead and they'll be up 30 at half. They don't care. They still coming out in the second half, and they still bringing it to you. So if teams going to play like that, if they're going to be having some fun, if they're going to be focused on making a deep run and playing well all year, I think it's going to be a lot of points scored in Philly, and for that reason, I'm interested.
But see, this is the thing. Well, let me just say this. 24 touchdowns at the 1-yard line he's had the last 3 years. He's due to regress, and that's why you brought that other guy in there, Mr. Barkley. So, because they get no attempts down there, it's all Hurts. I think they're going to diversify, and I just think that I don't believe in that coach. I think the coach sucks. When they lost that coach that was it Stankin that went to Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and we're going and you don't have him on the list, but I want to talk about another quarterback in Indianapolis, by the way, that you don't have in that list.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Mr. Richardson. So I just think that, I mean, listen, he got a lot of those touchdowns. If it goes to half, that's cutting down his production that he had. And I agree, he has to get better passing. He has to get better passing. And I think that idiot coach had a lot to do with it. I just didn't like the schemes last year.
I get it. And as we're being critical, it's kind of like when you're trying to decide, when somebody asks you something crazy like who's your favorite child, Doc, it's impossible sometimes with some of these questions. I'm going to tell you why. We talk about a guy who had 3,800 yards passing last year. We're talking about a guy who was right there with Lamar Jackson, Stafford, and these guys as far as passing. He was only a few touchdowns behind Patrick Mahomes. These guys are playing well. He's just not running the ball in from the one, right? He's just not running in from the one. He is doing it through the air as well, and I think you're only looking at what he's done on the ground. That should be a bonus. That shouldn't count against him.
But you got to look at the last 5 or 6 games when people started to change things the way they played them, though. I mean, remember, he had a lot of that stuff was in the beginning of the year.
And I'm looking
but I think also, to be fair, he was hurt too. So after he got hurt in week 6,
the whole year. I'm not looking at the last 5 games, because when we're talking about drafting football players, DFS or season long, it's the entire year. And guess what? If he give you 12 good weeks and then 5 weeks he struggled, then you take the 12 good weeks and you run out of here and you pick somebody else up. But Jalen Hurts is one of those guys you want to draft.
All right, Willie mentioned Anthony Richardson. There are a lot of people right now in seasonal redraft leagues who are taking him as a top 3 quarterback. They're looking at what he did in the smallest ever sample size last year, and they're projecting that out to say, look, this dude can throw, this dude can run. And what Willie also said was, I think they may have one of the top play calling coaches out there. Kyle Shanahan, Shane Steichen, 2 of the best. So, Willie, you're drafting. It's round 5, and Anthony Richardson's on the board. Are you taking him?
I would try to take him around 6. If I can get him around 6, I'll take him around 6. But I think that's a great value. Because, see, this is a thing that you got to look at. He played 4 games last year. Okay, let's break down these 4 games he played. He only played 2 full games. The 2 full games he played, he was a number 4 fantasy quarterback and a number 2 fantasy quarterback. The 2 full games. And then the 1 game where he only played 38 snaps, he had 17 points. So what I'm saying is Josh Allen led the league in points per dropback, 0.63 points per game. It led the league for for the full year. He averaged 0.73. And let me put this more in perspective for you. CJ Stroud had 2 top 6 finishes last year in 15 games. So what I'm saying to you, the 2 that he had, what I'm saying to you, and if was a 5th, okay? So we're saying if he's got to stay healthy, so that's the thing he's got to do. But if he stays healthy and you get him in the 6th round or something like that, oh, you got something cooking. Because I think play calling is the key for everything. Just like for Jalen Hurts, as good as he was, it was stinking, and that's why he's stinking, because he don't have stinking anymore. So that's the key. So what I'm saying is play calling makes a difference. That's why you got people like Purdy, even though it's not great stats, he's efficient. Because of why? Because of the play caller. And that's what Stankin is. Stankin is, he's a great play caller. And Richardson got boatloads of talent, but I wouldn't be taking him in the top 3. No, I wouldn't do that. So anyway.
Swami, are you a Richardson guy? Because, he was phenomenal. But they said recently they're going to let him still run. But, dude, this is not University of Florida. There's some big dudes in the NFL, and Richardson took some major hits.
Doc, what camera am on?
Camera 2.
Camera 2. Bring it in. Doc, I don't know what side of his neck he was talking from. This is the same guy who, when he's in favor of a guy, he does these wild extrapolations. He has no problems doing it. He can take a 2-game sample and turn somebody into a Hall of Famer. Then he can take a 15-game sample and tell you how a guy's not worth drafted. It is insanity.
That way is going.
We have not seen enough from Richardson. He has to stay healthy. That offense, which I still think is going to be one that's going to come through Mr. Taylor, especially in the red zone. Yes, he's going to get some of those touchdowns, but I think he has a lot to prove as a pass rusher. And to even bring up C.J. Stroud in this conversation lets you know that Walls might be on his way to a rubber room padded walls kind of scenario. It is no way you're taking 4,000 yards and almost 25 touchdowns and you're comparing it to somebody who played a couple of games, and because he maybe looked great from a DFS perspective because he ran the ball, that doesn't make him a great passer, and it won't make him the 3rd quarterback coming off the board this year. He's not even in the top 10.
Who said he's going to be the 3rd?
Wait. You said he's not in the top 10?
You crazy. You smoking.
You want me to name 10?
Hey, listen.
Go ahead. Name 10. Name 10.
Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Tua. Why not? Well,
Tua is more like two ass. He can't stay healthy. That little bastard can't even stay healthy. I don't even want to hear that about Tua.
That offense it showed you something last year, more than what you saw in the Colts. That passing game is very efficient. They got a lot of big plays, and yet you can't see how Tua can be better than this guy.
Yeah, because Tua doesn't. What's his record when he plays playoff teams? He's 3-17.
What's Rich's
Come
record?
on, man. He does that against he beats up on a little. He beats up on the little guys. That's what he does.
Beat up on. Oh, you don't know because he ain't played.
It doesn't matter. Richardson, when he was healthy, the key thing for everything, Swami, is what I'm saying is being healthy. No, I'm not taking him as a top 3 quarterback. Hell no.
That's the same thing.
No, hell no. Man, listen. Tua chokes up. Tua chokes up when he plays playoff winning teams.
But Tua is in a great offense with a great coach.
Doc, he almost threw for 5,000 yards and almost 30 touchdowns.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, if I still going to take somebody, I would take Richardson over Tua. What? That's all I'm saying. Yes.
No.
Yes.
In fantasy, you would, Swami. I think in a redraft league, you would.
I'm talking about fantasy, dude. It's all about DFS. I'm not talking about this other stuff. I'm talking about DFS, sir. This guy can rush for 2 or 3 touchdowns and run for 100 yards. That's what I'm saying.
That Miami is much more explosive, gentlemen. I'm just going with the explosive.
I understand, but I get it. But I'm talking about in totality. You saw what's that dude that played for Denver who was ass? Terrible.
Willie Walls.
No, not him. They played for Denver for a while. They played for Florida. What's his name?
What position?
The quarterback.
Oh, you said
Tim Tebow?
He played for
Tim Tebow?
Remember, even Tebow had a couple of decent fantasy games.
Tebow.
So what I'm saying is, Tua, listen, if you ask me who I would take first, I would take Richardson fantasy-wise. Fantasy-wise, it's all about the fantasy over Tua.
All right, Swami. CJ Stroud had a much, much better year than I think most people anticipated. People said they couldn't handle the rush. He handled it just fine. He could throw against zone. He could throw against man. He could do whatever he needed to do. Now they bring in Stephon Diggs, who's playing on a big one-year deal, who wants to get paid. You still have Nico Collins. You still have Tank Dell, who's back and who's healthy. You still have Dalton Schultz. They bring in Joe Mixon. Is CJ Stroud the underdog? If we were betting here, would he be plus 250 to lead the league in touchdown passes?
Doc, I think he's right there. When you say lead the league, it just kind of, if the Houston offense picks up where they left off, I think he would have a shot because they were explosive on offense. He played well. What he did, was like the Houston fans they are proud to say they got a contender now, just because of him and how he played last year. What the defense is doing, the rest of the offense kind of coming together. When you got a leader like him, you got a shot. So they know they got a contender. It's just going to be a matter. If they can stay healthy, and I'm talking about everybody. That's Mixon, that's Tank Dell, that's everybody. If they can stay healthy, Doc, they're going to be right there. And I think he will have a shot to both go to the Pro Bowl and maybe be right up there with touchdowns as far as the league go. I like Stroud a lot.
Will, you like Stroud?
Yeah, I like Stroud. I mean, Stroud's he's a player. And remember, his offensive line was cheeks last year. You know what I mean? So they're gonna be better. And you got the only thing that I'm afraid of is Diggs. Okay, and what I mean by Diggs, he's very divisive. You know what I mean? He wants to rock, and we got to know who Nico Collins is. The guy, he got the big bucks. Okay, now is Diggs going to be able to handle it being the number 2 guy? That's the question I have.
First of all, Doc, check all rumors about guys being divisive because they're competitive. That is a total different deal. And oftentimes that's how they peg guys when they don't want to play them. If I want people who want the ball, and if you perform like Stephon Diggs has in this league, I would appreciate people like that. Terrell Owens and anybody else they've tagged with that who go out there and ball out. Now,
but the only difference is this: if you don't get the right, you only got a couple of balls, and you got great receivers. And what I'm saying, sir, for them to be the most effective they could be, he has to be willing to take that number 2 role. Do you agree that Nico Collins is the guy?
Well, Stephon Diggs there, I don't necessarily agree with that.
I would agree with Swami. I don't think we know who the guy is. I think 1 week it could be Tank Dell, 1 week it could be Diggs, 1 week it could be Collins.
No, I get it. But what I'm saying is you got to be happy with it. Listen, the bottom line is, and I think them having somebody like Mixon, as a running back, I think that's gonna help out too. I think they're gonna have more running touchdowns. I mean, I just like Houston, period, as a team, period. They're gonna be better. But what I'm trying to say is the stats might not show how good this kid is. That's what I mean. He is better than what the stats might show.
In DFS, do you guys see yourself stacking Texans? Because that's a tough one to stack. You don't know where to go with that one.
No, sir. I don't want that.
That's a different question, Doc. You just you open the barn door with that one.
Yeah. Now, if I had to take one person, it would be the quarterback because I know he's going to get the points no matter who he throws to. But you understand? Right. I don't want that. I don't want the receivers.
It would be really matchup dependent. It wouldn't probably be the start of the season. We would have to see how they start to develop. Yeah. Right now, no.
All right. Willie, Dallas may have to overpay Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is in line to get, about $50, $55 million. A, is he worth it? B, do you like him as a quarterback? C, you want to put him on your fantasy team?
It's got to be rounds later because, man, I tell you, their offensive line is cheeks. You know what I mean? And what he did last year, he's due for regression. You know, this dude has 67 red zone throws attempt. 67. The next closest guy was at 53. And what I'm saying to you is, man, he's good, but give me Jordan Love. I'll take Jordan Love before I take Prescott. You know what I mean? I listen, Prescott, they're going to throw the ball. They're going to have to throw the ball. But if something happened to Lamb, they in trouble. If something happened to him, I mean, he's the key.
Unbelievable.
He's right. He's right, though, Swami. If something happens to Lamb, that team is a mess. And let me ask you one other thing. You got Zeke Elliott. You got Rico Dowdle. Are they not going to throw the ball a ton?
Oh, they're going to throw.
Doctor, we even mentioned this. I can't believe, first of all, let me knock on wood. We never talk about injuries. I mean, to say, if something happens to Tyreek Hill, if something happens to the Lamar, cut it out. Of course. Come on. Let's not talk like that. Come on. What are you talking about injuries for? What's wrong with you, Willie? Anyway, Doc, let's get back to what we have and what they have without wishing any shenanigans. Stop it. Anyway, Doc, let's talk about it because we're talking about Dak Prescott. And for some reason, everybody seems to, want to be critical of him. I don't know. Quarterback ratings at or around 100 or over 100. Throwing for 4,000 yards multiple times, throwing for over 20 touchdowns, over 30 a couple, including last year where he led the league. He's thrown for 30 over 3 times. He's probably went over 20 in every season except for one where he only played 5 games. What do you want from the guy? And I'm talking to Willie, Doc. What do you want from the guy? Do we got to come to your house and cut your grass too? What do you want from the guy? He's out there giving his all. He can't do it all. They're losing games 45-42. What do you want them to do? They have to get over the hump. They got to do it collectively. They can't afford to have big injuries. They can't afford to do those mistakes they made in the backfield. Now they're trying to fix it. They're bringing back Zeke. They haven't done nothing necessarily behind them. Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to step up? Now we're back to, Zeke. Now Pollard's out of the mix. Do the man a favor. Keep a running back behind him. Make sure the offense is a little bit more balanced so he's not out there throwing it 72,000 times a game. And watch what this team can do with that defense and Dak Prescott as your quarterback.
All right, Willie. Swami mentioned Jordan Love, Willie. Jordan Love got paid. Few bags came his way to Green Bay. Can he build on last year? I mean, because he wasn't great in the beginning of the year, but toward the end of the year, he was sensational.
I think the light came on for Jordan Love. Now, see, this is another thing where I will take the quarterback over all his receivers, because I don't know who's going to get the ball. You know what I mean? It's going to change from week to week. He's got talent. And let's say, hey, they added Mr. Jacobs, to the mix there. So I love Joe. Listen, he deserved to get that money. I think he did. Honestly, I think he's progressing. I think he's young. I love the play calling that the coach does. And listen, I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go up. I mean, but like I said, these guys I'm taking in later rounds. I'm not drafting. To be honest with you, if it comes for the draft, I'm not taking a quarterback into the first 3 or 4 rounds before I take a quarterback. I'm getting other positions, but yes, he has upside. I love Jordan Love, but I don't. DFS purposes, I can't touch any of his receivers because I don't know who's going to get the rock.
Swami, are you in love with Love?
Doc, there's a lot to love about Love. I would say he played well. I like the way he played that offense, the way he had made that offense go. I don't like that he lost, one of his guys, but I do like what he's doing. I'm talking about Jones, but I do like what he's doing. I do like what that offense is doing. I do like the play calling. There's a lot to like about the Packers. I think they balanced in the way that they call the game. I think that the defense is playing well. But I'm just surprised how much Willie loves Love when Love was definitely statistically not as good as Mr. Dak Prescott, who he was down on. But that's just typical Willie and both sides of his neck.
But if you take it from week 9 on for what he did and what he grown from, that's what I'm looking at.
He's done it one time, and Dak has done it.
And he has a better offensive line.
Right, but Dak's done it 7 times. He's done it.
And he's younger.
7 times. He's done it once.
All right, I want to talk about a guy who I think is kind of divisive as well. At least he is for me. Caleb Williams comes in, gets $25.5 million signing bonus. He's already telling the vets, clean up the locker room. It's dirty in here. He hasn't even played one down in the NFL. Not one down in the NFL, Willie, and Caleb Williams thinks he's the man. Is he the man? Would he ever, if you drafted 20 teams, will he ever be the quarterback on one balls to the walls team?
In the late round, But let me say this to be fair. To be fair to Caleb Williams, he better shut his mouth, especially when you're talking about these veterans. But what he has around him, Doc, they did a great job. You got one of the best. You got DJ Moore, one of the best winners on the outside. You got Keenan Allen, one of the best winners in the inside. You got the guy they drafted, number 9. That has a lot of that is good. There's a whole lot of time. Then you got Komet. You got Komet there. Then you also have the guy that came from San Diego, as a second tiger, Everett. Yeah. And then you talking about you took the running back from Philly that you got now that catches the ball. So he has a lot around. Listen, if anybody is insulated, he has targets. Now, how that's going to work in his first year, we're going to see. But I don't like him mouthing off in the locker room. I don't like that. You keep that stuff inside. But talent-wise, I think Chicago gets it, because they are surrounding them with guys that can play. And I look forward to seeing, but no, I'm not drafting this guy.
Well, then let me ask you a question. Let's say a freshman came to your college and he wanted to rush Q and you let him in. And the freshman opened his mouth to the older brothers. What would the older brothers do to this young freshman?
He would get smacked down.
It wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen because we have a thing that it's years in the frat. If you coming in fratting off, you're getting. We can't tell you what is going to happen to you on this thing.
It wouldn't happen.
It won't happen. It won't happen. I guarantee you.
Swami, talk to me about Caleb Williams. Do you think he is ready to put in the work to be great?
He sounds like he is. I'm trying to be optimistic about it. I'm not necessarily a big believer right now in the Chicago Bears. I feel like they got a lot of pieces right now. Maybe in the preseason that'll change if you ask me in a couple of weeks. But right now I'm in a wait and see. And, it's a lot of promise there that's right now. But we need to see him put it together. I just don't think and I don't get too much into some of these stories because people, I think they're looking to stir stuff up, and I hope that locker room is together and getting ready for the season, and not, but obviously it shouldn't be any. I know the quarterback wants to kind of take control of the team and that kind of stuff, but he has to understand, even as a leader, he gotta know what fights to kind of pick and where he wants to kind of put his foot in the ground, and some of that stuff, leave it to the trainers and the coaches or send messages through them, stay away from the media and just focus on the field. So I'm hopeful for the Bears. I think he'll be at least an interesting week 1 DFS player for us. But if you're talking about drafting rookie quarterbacks in season long, Doc, if they're around in week, 13, round 14 or 15, sure. But if it's anything before that, I will not. My name won't be in the hat.
I agree with Chris Curving, by the way, who had said that I'm out on Caleb Williams this year myself. I think he is more name than game. And I don't know whether you got to be, if you want to be a great quarterback, you got to be the first guy in the facility and the last guy to leave. You got to put that work in. And he did not do that at USC. I watched those games. I'm that idiot who's up until 2:30 in the morning watching those Pac-12 games. He did not put the work in. All right, Swami, let me ask you about Willie's team. Jaden Daniels going to Washington. That's a sexy, sexy ball player right there, Swami. I think he could be a DFS guy. I think he could be a seasonal guy. I mean, look, you let this guy throw, he could be pretty good. What are you thinking?
I think so. I think the Commanders, I would say they made a lot of moves that I am interested in, just as far as saying, hey, they know they had a lot to do. They were kind of rebuilding. They came in right away, and they picked somebody who I think has got a lot of talent, right? And I'm talking about he can do a lot of things for you, can make a lot of plays happen for you. But I also like some of the other moves. They kind of added Eckler. We want to see what he got. He had a down year last year. I think he could bring a lot to their offense. I think he's still, dynamic and can make some plays. I always like what they were doing as far as with their receivers. I think they got a lot of folks who are, got great speed. They got playmakers at those positions. I think bringing in Zach Ertz is going to help them. So I think they made a lot of moves. I think they like that Luke McCaffrey guy as a part of it. They got a lot of great things going on there. And even some of the veterans, like the guys who I think will still be in the locker room and kind of helping them out, and just the work ethic and the way that I think that they'll help kind of develop some of these guys. I like it. I like it from a coaching standpoint. I know that they still probably have, they might be a year or so away, but I still like them, and I think they'll be interested from DFS perspective.
Willie, you like your boy Jaden Daniels?
I think he can have a be like Robert Griffin type of impact his first year. You know what I mean? I think he's got that type of talent. So I really think that he's going to be a viable. I think you get him in the 8th or 9th round, something like that. What round are you getting him in?
Yeah, late 8, early 9. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's worth a shot. And that's what I call an upside pick. I think he's worth a shot. I think having that Dallas, defensive guy as your coach is going to help him out. Because they're going to do things that he knows that's going to give you trouble. And I just like where the Commanders are going. They finally got rid of that cancer. Mr. Snyder. It starts from the top. And they got rid of that cancer, that little nasty bastard that like to get kind of charges on the team. And they
it's the controversy over there.
And they cleaned it up. So I like what they're doing.
Are there players? Let's go through it really quickly. Do we like Brock Purdy? Yes or no?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
I'm a heck yeah.
Yeah.
Do we like Trevor Lawrence?
He lost some. They lost a little. That's a wait for see for me.
Swami, yes or no?
Doc, I do like Lawrence. I don't know if I like the direction that offense is going in. They keep moving stuff around. They're not keeping some guys with them. And I don't like it.
What about Jared Goff, Swami?
Yeah. Oh heck yeah. Yeah, heck yeah.
Really, you like Jared Goff?
I mean, he's okay, but listen, they're a running team, and they got that coach. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. You know what I mean? They go for it on, so but he's good, but I'm not saying he's like, yeah, you know what I mean? I don't.
You can win a fantasy league with Jared Goff. I won plenty last year.
Doc, almost 4,600 yards and 30+ touchdowns. I don't know if this guy has been drinking. He started drinking early tonight. I'm telling you, this doesn't make any sense. What are you talking? Jared Goff
is okay where he's going. I mean, he's okay. Okay,
even
but I'm just
running the ball, which I like because that offense works that way. Run first, have him play action, run action, and hit those receivers, those playmakers, and take big shots down the field. That's why they're going to be right there again this year. Love it.
I got a guy that nobody's going to like, but I think is better than everybody thinks. Baker Mayfield.
No, I like Baker.
We like Baker.
He looked good last year.
He lost his coordinator though. That's
I
one
like
thing he
Baker.
did lose.
Week 1, Doc, Baker might be a Swami set.
Yeah. But
Who
I'm
they
just saying,
playing?
what I'm
Who they
saying
playing?
is
The
they play
Commanders.
the Commanders. But what I'm saying is we never know the impact of losing coaches until when they're gone and you see the impact of losing a coach.
True. But you got, Evans and Godwin and McMillan, who was good, and Rashad White.
Veteran offense.
Good team.
Well, I like Rashad White.
Yeah. We'll get to him
I
next
like
week.
I like Baker where he's going. He's a DFS play for sure.
Yeah. You could double stack that team in 2 seconds. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Triple.
Yeah. What about Kirk Cousins, Swami?
I am warming up to Kirk, and I'm gonna tell you why. He likes to go to his tight end. I think that could be meaningful to Pitts. I think that London could be somebody who's really in the mix this year, and I think like Kirk has. When you put somebody behind Kirk, I think they could. And Atlanta. Even though they have a few folks that they like, I think Robinson is going to be more involved this year. I think they could be right up there. I don't know if they'll be winning. They're going to be competing.
What does Kirk do more than any quarterback? He throws end zone shots, and that's why he takes end zone shots. Yeah. That's what I like about Kirk. Yeah. He's not. He throws it, and he's going to make that receiver who's going. I don't like taking him where he's going in the second round. But he's going to make him viable.
Oh, Drake London?
Yes, sir. He is going to finally be unleashed. He don't have to jump 50 feet to try to catch a ball. Oh. He will have, he will get the ball where he's supposed to get the ball. I think Kirk Cousins more than fantasy. I think he's going to make that team better. And I think they got rid of that coach. And I think, Bijan. Rondell Moore and Mooney, I think they're going to benefit.
Mooney's interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, and Moore because
he's an interesting DFS play.
The beat writer's been talking a lot about Moore, and they love them hybrid guys that you can kind of move all around the field and get involved in different ways. So
I forgot Kyler Murray. Willie, are you in on Kyler Murray this year with Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride?
Yes.
Are you in?
Yes, I am. Because I think they were scrappy towards the end of the year. You saw how they played. He still averaged 19.3 points a game. And remember, he's going to be better his second year because he came off that knee injury. So, and you add Marvin Harrison Jr. I love Kyler Murray, especially where he's going in the draft. I think he's a viable guy this year.
Swami, you in?
I think they'll be better. I still think that Murray's got a lot, but it just feels like Arizona. I've been here before. I feel like something feels like a setup. Something doesn't feel right. So I would be cautious about drafting him this season long. And but I think
I'm talking about late rounds. You get him late. You're
not getting Kyler Murray late. You're getting him in round 7, 8, or 9.
Like none of us would be surprised if he went for over 30.
Who's going to go?
Nope, we wouldn't be surprised if he went for over 3,500 yards and over 20 touchdowns. Nobody would be surprised. It just something about them feels.
All right. Did I miss anybody? Anybody that we're really dying to talk about? Oh, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. We in?
NFC North. AFC North. The AFC North. That's all I got to say. All the statistics go down a little bit when you play in the AFC North.
The only thing that, as far as the Bengals moves, I don't think Mixon seemed like he was a big part of what they were doing. And then no Zach Moss is there. That's the only kind of question mark. But the rest of the offense, you think is going to be right there. I think Mike, the tight end position, the second, he could be a good addition for them. So there's a lot to like. And to see Joe come back, hopefully he's healthy, get all the way through, preseason.
Uh-oh.
What happened? We cut the Swami off? Where'd he go?
His his Wi-Fi is ass.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Can't trust.
Yeah. Thanks, Swami. Appreciate you.
All right, Willie, give me a sleep. You got a sleeper quarterback for me before we get out of here?
You know what? As much as I talked about him, I still think, and I wrote about him in the article. I really think Caleb Williams, with the people that he have around you, yes. I think he got a lot of weapons. I get it. He's a sleeper. We can't go by what they say in the locker room, but that would be my guy. I mean, I like the Commanders quarterback, but he's not a sleeper.
He's not a sleeper. Swami, before we go, you got a sleeper quarterback for me? Somebody that nobody's thinking about?
Not necessarily somebody that nobody's thinking about, but I think, I think the Rams are still going to be interesting this year. I think, we kind of maybe got off to a slow start. I just feel like they could do something. And I think that, if I had to pick another, we haven't really talked about the Jets and what they're doing. I thought we might would have talked about Mr. Rodgers, but I see if you didn't want to, Doc, I kind of get it. But they the two I think I would have.
Rodgers doesn't have big games anymore. He's efficient.
Well, we'll know what they're going to do in New York because of what happened last year. They got all of 2 plays or something. So
yeah, but they're going to run.
Yeah, I agree, but I just thought it. Yeah,
I'll give you guys a sleeper, and you'll tell me I'm crazy. I think Will Levis is a sleeper. I think Tennessee is going to throw the ball way more this year than they've thrown in the past. Way more. Ridley, Hopkins, Boyd, Pollard, Spears, Okonkwo. I'm just thinking they're going to throw more.
Yeah, but throwing more for Levis is going to have to show more before I could believe in him throwing more. Right now, him throwing more just seemed like it would mean more bad plays for the offense.
All right, Willie, if you have to draft one quarterback, you can only have one, who's your dude?
Oh, if I had to draft one, it'd be Mr. Mahomes.
Swami, who's your dude?
I'm taking the MVP.
Brock Purdy? I mean,
Lamar Jackson.
I know I'm teasing you. All right, I'm with you, Willie. I think Mahomes is going to have a generational year. This is it. This is, Worthy, Hollywood, all these guys can get deep. All right, next week, running backs. All right, we'll break down the running back position, then we'll break down some receivers, we'll break down some tight ends, all leading up to week 1 in DFS so you can win some money. And you can get a piano.
It's here. It's here. Every week we got games. We got look at the preseason games. It's important so you can gauge what's going to happen. I'm telling you. But it's here. Football is here. Baseball can kiss my you know what. Football is back, baby. Football and then basketball will be back.
Willie, we're back, Doc, and we got the plays and we got what the folks want. So if you can't watch the games, we're going to watch the games and we're going to get you what you need, get you ready for your league.
There you have it.
This year. We all having a big year. Somebody's winning $1 million in this chat right here. Somebody is winning $1 million. So that's it's a big year.
LFG. All right, for Doc, Willie, and the Swami, be well and take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.